Ever since I was little, my family, especially my mom, has always loved traveling and educating my brother and I on the importance of travel. My mom has always valued school and academics, and she wanted to make sure we had a chance to experience things she never got to when she was our age. Her love for traveling eventually passed on to me as I got into college. I remember promising myself I would travel abroad at least once in my college career. I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to fulfill my love of history by visiting Europe for 2 weeks with my World War II history class. While I enjoyed the class itself, the journey to and from Europe and our adventures to the various countries are memories I will never forget. Only a small group of the class went on the trip, and when you spend 2 weeks in close quarters with people who are strangers to you to begin with, you can't help but get to know them pretty well over the duration of the trip. What was also really cool was getting to spend time with 2 of my professors and a faculty member outside of the university setting. I know when I was younger, I was always surprised to find out teachers had lives outside of the classroom, and to see my professors in a different setting made me appreciate them a little more. The first city on our itinerary was Berlin, Germany. In Berlin, our first stop was to visit the memorial to the murdered Jews in Europe. Then the Brandenburg Gate, and then Sachsenhausen, Germany. We got the opportunity to visit the Sachsenhausen concentration camp, which was very humbling to say the least. Our next stop was Bayeux, France. In Bayeux, we got a fantastic tour of Normandy Beach by a local French tour guide. We got to see war bunkers while walking along the hills that outlined Normandy Beach. We also got a chance to see and stop by the American Cemetery. Bayeux had a beautiful cathedral, cute little shops, and of course we got to enjoy some wonderful French cooking. Our next stop was Amsterdam, Netherlands, which is probably my favorite city we went to. One of our first stops in Amsterdam was the Anne Frank house, which unfortunately we couldn't take pictures inside, but being familiar with Anne Frank's story and having read her books, getting to physically walk and see where her family stayed in such close quarters made her story feel so much more real. We then went to the Dutch Resistance Museum. There we learned the story of the Dutch people during the war. I think I really enjoyed the city the most because of the amazing architecture and their unique history. It was amazing to see the magnitude of bikes and quickly noticing how that was a lot of the locals' mode of transportation. Our last stop was London, England, which isn't a bad last stop if you ask me. While walking around London, we walked past the monument to the women of World War II. We saw Big Ben, which was unfortunately under construction, Buckingham Palace, and then visited the Churchill War Rooms, which was very eye-opening. Almost every stop we made, each student in our group had previously been assigned the role to give the rest of us a brief history of a certain location. I had been assigned to give information about the war bunkers and the essential role they played during the war. Throughout this amazing experience, I got the chance to see the world from a perspective that many will only get to know through a textbook. To be able to say I saw important, historical, and breathtaking monuments is something I hold near and dear to my heart. I also gained valuable skills that I will be able to use in future endeavors, such as adaptability in different cultures, organization and planning for the new places we will be going into, teamwork when we put our heads together to make planning go smoothly, problem solving, and decision making when we were trying to find where we were supposed to be going. I will be forever grateful to have met these awesome individuals who have made these adventures something I can always enjoy reflecting back on. I am so excited to be able to go back someday and create more memories.